David Mack, the LAPD officer, never ever worked or was affiliated and associated with Death Row Records at all. Neither was Rafael Perez. And those were the two individuals that jailhouse informants had claimed were part of Death Row's security. They weren't, ever.
But we came up with new evidence showing Greg Kading is incorrect. Officer David Mack was apparently a charismatic and social guy. So many people at Death Row remember him.
I knew David very well. I was actually quite shocked when I saw David and he was an LAPD. Very surprised. A little later, I found out he was working with all the rappers I knew off duty and a lot of other cops that I knew.
Yeah, I seen him. I seen David back play. They had to come to the party because, you know, never knew when it was gonna jump off. Hung out with him, been in the room with him, been around them, you know. Ever since they been around, I was around. Rafael Perez, seen him too. All that. But like I said, shit, it wasn't no different from us. The only thing, they had badges, we didn't. So you know, we might be somewhere, you know, it go like this. We get into it with whoever we get into it with, and when the police rush us, our police rush them. That's how it went.
Yes. Officer Perez, he was friends with Shug.
That's how to get out.
I've seen him up there several times. Several times. I seen him in uniform and out of uniform. And when he out of uniform, he try to look like he cool and shit. He wear little accents of red, you know, like try to fit in and shit. I know I'm like, oh, that's the police dude. But I never knew that he was the part of that Rampart division shit until I seen him. Like, oh, out of all the police in the world that I remember him from being up at Death Row. And then there was another one, the one that they said killed Biggie, right? Black dude. He used to be up there too. I don't know if he did this, but the one that they had on the nose, he was there a lot.
Is that even Police Chief Bernard Parks himself said they worked for Death Row.
We know that David Mack and Rafael Perez both work security in this rap culture as it relates to some of these artists.
One of the most shocking things in that Board of Rights, or any that I've ever done in over 30 years, was there was a photograph of Rafael Perez and David Mack, who were the two police officers that were bad news, and a woman standing in the middle. And they were all dressed in red from head to toe, a hat, whatever. And I was startled because I recognized the woman. And it was the daughter of Police Chief Bernard Parks, who it appeared was a Blood gang member.
That's incredible.
Yeah, tell me about it. I looked at this thing, I turned to my two partners and I said, "Is this what I think it is?"
And another cellmate of Officer Perez, who alleged Perez took part in Biggie's murder and were threatened with death if they testified against him.
They were visited at their prisons, 1,000 miles apart, and told not to come and testify in the Board of Rights hearing that I was involved with. And they were told that if they did testify, that friends of Perez who were in prison would have them killed for testifying, for snitching. And then the advocate for the department, who was like the prosecutor, he jumps up and he gets in his face and he says, "Keep your mouth shut. You were told not to talk about that."
David Mack, Sammy Martin, Dirty. You had one other officer that was involved in it, and I keep forgetting his name. Like Perez, Kevin Gay. So it's 5 officers that was involved in a planning that was supposed to help execute it.
It is this testimony from Bo Agnew that is concealed by the LAPD and kept from the Biggie Smalls lawyers. The LAPD will be fined $1.1 million by a U.S. district judge for concealing evidence.
Nah, nah,